Hello. Today we have a male model, which is our model. His name is Richard Martin. And he takes some amazing poses. Okay, now, it's a professional model. That was a pose that we took about maybe a couple of years ago. And that Richard was posing for my students. Okay, now gesture drawing. That's an amazing gesture from Richard. Amazing gesture. Look at that. Look at a line which goes right down there. Then you have his thigh here. And that pops out towards us. And then you have a shadow which completely engulfs the thigh here. Well, this part of, the shin and foot. There we are. And the thigh is around here. And that's his bum here. And then you have rib cage. The body, really. His body. And then obviously the rib cage is now an indication of the rib cage here. Then this is the shadow which crosses all around his body, all around. And that's his hip on the other side, a light shadow. I'll try and keep it as light as possible now to make it transparent almost. Now I do have for some reason, because Richard is very, he's very pale, his skin. So I'll try and keep it and try and emulate his skin tone, if possible. We'll see. I'll try. And that is his kneecap, thigh, and thigh again here. And then you have the light on the thigh, light. So this is this triangle here, that's a light triangle. It's where the light illuminates his thigh. And that's the shadow around it. So it's a little slightly darker here and less dark here, transparent here. Now what I like about this pose is that he takes some very natural poses, which is this triangle here. It's perfect. It's perfect. Look, so you have that triangle, you have that shadow here coming from his thigh, shadow, and then his left leg, the width of the shadow, width of his thigh here. And then all this is in light, all this area. Now, to make that look lighter, I don't have any choice except to come, which is dark in the picture, obviously, so I'm not inventing it, but it's easier to come and go as dark as possible, because that gives you a platform. Now another beautiful light, it's on his chest here, on his breast here. And so this light, there's a light area here, and then the rest is a lot darker. So what I'm actually subsequently doing here is that I'm keeping this area light, one side light, and this is darker here. And his belly, belly button, then all those. As I said, I'll try and not darken it, so I'm being careful not to go too dark. And then his nipple here, then half tone, and then his hand. Obviously, he's keeping his. I left it for the end. You have the shadow of his body on the wall, and then his hand, which is, it starts from there and then moves right up here. Now, the end of the hand, or the hand itself, is at the level of, I'm checking on the picture here. So the hand is there. That means that I cannot go lower than this line. There you are. Okay, that's hand, shoulder, and this is the darkest dark there. Well, just, sorry, 1 second. It's delivery. Oh, hello. I thought it was a delivery. Oh, no. Okay, I'll keep away because I'm not wearing a mask. I'll keep away.
Okay.
You can wait. You can wait if you want, if you like. Okay. All right. Sorry. So, shadow place here, and his light line. And then dark here, the rib cage. Rib cage, and then softly coming, moving towards that light area. So I could, so what I'm doing now, I am actually moving or placing a mid-tone all around here, but not to forget that this area is darker. So this mid-tone is lighter than that area here. He's right. And his portrait. Oh, he's got a very interesting portrait. Now his chin goes right here, neck, and then ear. Now, first of all, before I go to details, why not check the head itself? I mean, the shape of the head. Moving around here. And head, grey hair. And trying to move this plane, which is his cheek, mouth, a tiny detail on the mouth, nose. Now the light is coming underneath, if you've noticed. I'm sure you've noticed. It's coming this way, which means you have a lighter area here. The light comes on this side of his neck. And then this dark here. That to emphasize that the light coming through this way, coming from underneath. And then to emphasize that, you just darken this area here. and plane, one plane, eye, and then his forehead. Cut there, and then put his head, and then obviously his ear. And then cheek, and then nose. Okay, now really like the head as it is coming along, and then darker here. Sorry about this Spanish lesson here. They're going quickly, so it will be fine. And then the thigh, emphasize the thigh a bit here. And cuff. And then again, is heel and foot, which moves, thrusts inwards there, and then the thigh itself coming right towards us. Now that needs to go dark, 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 because that's in the shadow. Now let's work a little bit on his portrait with a stump, because my hand is very small. The areas where I'm going to go now, they're very tiny, so the hand will not, my finger will not do much. So this little one, light underneath here, light underneath his eye, cheek, nose, light here, and then lighter there. So I'll keep his head darker. Obviously, heads normally is darker for various reasons. Well, all the blood vessels are there to start with. Secondly, the body is not exposed in the sun, so the body is always brighter than the head. And thirdly, you have the light which comes from this way, so it makes the body even brighter. Keep this area coming towards us. So this area here, the belly, comes towards us, close to the camera, close to us. Now that is not a straight line. It's slightly bended outwards like this. This, see? So it makes him look more relaxed. Although he's always relaxed, Richard, he will tell you that. And this area, too many lines. So there's a beautiful light here, shine on his. When you see the original, you will see the picture. So let's do that. Let's darken this. And now I can trim that a bit, and then darken this. Darken the whole thigh, because I want to get this highlight here, which I'll show you now. This little dot, it's the same thing that when we started with sphere, cone, and square. This is the highlight. This is the central light, or the reflected light from the main source. I'll show you what light I'm talking about now. There's one light here. So with putty, that's the highlight. Although it's not very much, it's not very strong, so I can make it stronger if you want. I'd make it a bit stronger. But that will invariably mean or need to, oh, broke it. I need to darken this. So to darken the thigh, that will make the light stronger. So, see, now that I have broken charcoal, I'm using the sharpest edge of the charcoal, which is the end. Say you were on a quick drawing session, nude session, and you don't have the time to get a new charcoal, so you have to work with what you have basically, quickly, because otherwise the model is moving or will move. Okay, now highlight here, and as he's relaxed, that will have to show on his shoulders here. And with putty, get this beautiful light on his collarbone. I'm not sure if that's collarbone, but I'm calling collarbone, and you would let me know. And you have this highlight here on his chin. Jaw, sorry, jaw here, jaw, and then a little bit of light on his tip of the nose here, because the light is coming this way. It's illuminating from underneath, as we said earlier on. And darken that, and then highlight here. Bring the highlight back on his hand. I have too much rubber here, so took the rubber off. And then with what I'm left, spread it here, spread those darks there. I'm personalizing a little bit with those lines. I mean, I do like them. They're not there, but this is my style. Well, I'm trying to do new things. So to make it a bit more interesting, to make it a bit more... Look, so what I'm doing now, I'm emphasizing this line, but this hip here, but not right onto the light. I'm getting inside the shadow. So I'm not affecting the light directly, if you know what I mean. There we are. And then darks here. Emphasizing. Now, we're emphasizing those two lines because the light is coming this way, and then you have the strongest contrast wherever the light, wherever the light, which side the light spreads onto the body. So obviously we have the right hand side as we see the model, and now Richard is grey hair. He's got his grey hair. So I'll try and do some not too dark the hair, because otherwise we're moving off the character. Now I'm trying to get the character as close as I can, obviously, but it's difficult when the portrait is so small. It's what? It's about 4 centimeters. And then, so what I'm doing now, I'm working on the background a bit more. See, so these lines, they're not too strong. This side of his head is not too strong. Those lines which are getting inside the background, they're moving towards the background, so I'm not getting them too strongly there. And the shadow of his body on the wall. He's very close to the wall. You can move it vertically, horizontally. That gives also perspective, a depth to his body. Then here. And you use that darks here. So I'm brightening up all the area. As I said, I'll keep his body as light as possible, because he's quite bright, quite pale. And I'll come with a strong line here. I'm thinking, as I'm coming down here, I think I will just put a strong line just here. Nowhere else. Like as to define this beautiful triangular shape. And maybe here. Now everything else is in shadow here. This is sitting on a mattress. I was thinking bringing that up, bringing that line up, somehow connects his gaze. He's looking there. Well, he's not really looking there, but he's looking towards this side. So you better move something there, or do something, or you can do a flower, you can do a pot, you can do something there. A vase, flowers, a quick still life. Something to attract the attention of the view of the seater. And then darks here. And then because light is coming this way, see, I'm working on the folds here. Now, I mean, it's just an idea. You don't have to do that. And then you have his thumb and cuff here, his willy here, and darks. I'm just emphasizing that a bit more here. The muscles were not the muscles, where the light affects the mass of the body. So what I'm doing now, I'm playing here with shapes and sizes and forms. But on the other hand, I have to be careful because the more you play, the more you start losing freshness. So there's one thing you can do if you want to work more on it or darken more. You can spray it and then work on it more. So you can spray the whole thing, let it dry, and then come over it with more charcoal. I'll do that. I'll do it now. Because I'm tending to make it slightly darker. Before I do that, I used to go and highlight a little bit, what, here, the light here. Underneath his ear, bang, 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 bring those highlights, beautiful lights coming through. And a little bit lighter here. And his ear, just smaller the ear. And highlight tiny light here on his eye. That's it. And chin a bit more. And a tiny light here. Oh, shape the putty like this. And then you can come and clear that up. See that? There's no another way of doing that except you shape the putty and construct it this way. So you can reach those extremely tight spaces. And then obviously we said gray hair. How do we get that? Well, brighten it up the hair around the ear. There. Okay, now cut that area. There. That's more like Richard. There. More like Richard. And that shape here is beautiful here. There we are. Okay, now let me spray it. Let me spray. Quick spray, like 2 minutes. You don't need more than that. Now that I'm off and let the spray to dry a bit, I'll sharpen up another chalk. So come up with a very thin charcoal. Okay. Well, computer just died. Come on, come back. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Now touch it and you see it's dry very quickly. Now again, darken that a bit more. So instead of darkening here, I'm darkening right where the light illuminates the body. That's the best technique or tactic. So you can work over the spray area perfectly. So it's another layer that you're putting on. darken that. And that brings the belly towards us, as we mentioned earlier on. And then you have a line which comes around. Well, it's not a strong line, but it is there. And that's the belly. That forms the belly. And then here. Do you remember that first line that I said? It's not a straight line. I'm going back to it. And maybe there. There we are. Now, I don't want to emphasize this because that area, the knee, becomes almost part of the background here. So I don't want to go there. There's no need for us to pursue that because it's moving away. And you want to persuade the viewers that you're aware of spaces and perspective. See, a very sharp edge line here. And another one here. And here as well. But again, I'm not going right where the light is. I'm going close to the light, but not exactly at the light. Okay, just darken the shadow, play with the shadow a bit more. It's very, very dark, but I like it. It creates a nice effect. Now this line, it's becoming part of the background. So you see, I forgot to get it off before I sprayed it, but I'll try and do it now. So it's so insignificant that you think that it's not there. So what I'll do now, because I cannot get rid of it, I will darken the background. See? That's another way of getting rid of it. Okay, and maybe bring the ear a bit stronger here. So emphasize the ear, not anything else. Look, I'm choosing to work on the ear. Imagine not leaving the eyes out. But it's a technique. You see, I'm emphasizing more the ear. And a little tiny bit on the eye. And cheek. Chin, not cheekbone, cheekbone. There. And the neck. As I said, don't want to darken it too much, just to emphasize this. And a little bit more here. 2 dots. To make the turn of the head moving this way, moving that way. I don't want to go and mess it up now because it's quite good at the moment. And a tiny bit of his hair here. But that shows you that you can spray it and then go over it. And you can finish it off now. That's a really, really interesting area to work on there. And, oh, wow. His nipple is not there, it's just down here. Completely misjudged it. It's there. You don't see that nipple, but we don't have to see it. And the thigh, just make the thigh a bit darker. And then darken that. I'm trying to get that roundness, beautiful roundness of his thigh. That's what I'm doing. And then becomes part of, so that line just moves, merges with the mattress and the calf, and the calf here. That line downwards, maybe there, and then the calf here. This is Willie, as we said earlier on, is there. Okay. Too many lines. Let's unify that here. Make it one part and not like too many moving parts. Well, there are many moving parts, but don't want to overcomplicate it with the viewer's eye. Just leave it like that. I wanted to get some beautiful light here, just here, because that's the closest part coming towards us, is this kneecap here, and then that light moves inwards there. Okay, yeah, I'm getting there, and then brighten this. Lose that line here deliberately, and that hand is moving back, so move the hand back. Move the hand back. There we go. And here. And there. And this light here. Bring it, but then don't want it too bright. Back again. All right, I'll leave it. Today is the 10th or 12th. Spray it again. Wait, spray. All right. See you on the next one. Thank you.